So I have a fun story with what I'm about to show you. Recently, and for those who want to know, if you want to interact outside this channel with me and you're on Facebook, I am fairly active in the iHeart Fans Facebook group. So someone out there posted a Facebook Marketplace fan of, it was a Robeson that was rebadged as something else, which I've never heard of. And so a lot of times when people do that, they just send like the screenshot and like you can just see it, and it's, they just post it because like, oh, look at this cool fan. Usually it'll be something like it's way overpriced or like really cheap, so like if someone's local, go get it, kind of thing. So whomever, and I wish I could remember who posted it because I would give you credit. So if you watch the channel, certainly speak up in the comments, and I'll make sure to acknowledge that, because I want to acknowledge that because that's part of the cool story. So I realized it was not a static screenshot, so I clicked on it and it took me to the listing, and I was like, that's a cool fan. And this reminds me of a Robeson fan I got when I was in 6th grade. And I don't know why. It's like, I keep telling these stories throughout the channel about like, oh, I bought this one in 1997, I bought that one. And so this would be like circa 1990. I bought a Robeson. Now, usually, like while I was very young, I usually remember like the exact circumstances. Like my 3733 from 1997, I tell the story, the store I bought it at, what the circumstances were, I remember it. But I don't remember the situation when I bought the Robeson. And I think because I wanted like a Lakewood or something, and it looked like a Lakewood, and I got it, and I like the kind of banana style blades on it, which last summer there was a bunch of hubbub, and I was part of it on YouTube. Made some videos comparing some Robesons, and I have some videos out there if you're interested. I think it's titled like basically Lakewood ripoff, and I compare Lakewood and a Toastmaster to a Robeson on camera, and it's a fun video. But basically, what do they say? The best form of flattery is like an impersonation. So anyway, I think so. So here we are. So I saw the link, I reached out, and I said, do you happen to ship? And I was like, I'm wasting my freaking time, or they're gonna be like, yeah, it's $150 to ship. And I usually, when I've done this before, I'll say, hi, I said, I'm actually a collector, and do you happen to ship? I'm willing to pay for shipping because this is a piece that I've been looking for. I usually try to be very friendly, right? Because sometimes ordinarily people will say no, but then they hear you're a collector and it kind of sways them. Well, this lady, I think she sells a lot on Marketplace for, I think she raises money, charity, or something like that. She said, I've never shipped something like this. I'd have to get a box. But she said, since you're a collector, I would rather know it goes to a good place and doesn't get discarded or just used up or whatever. So I said, great. So now I feel committed, right? So shipping was like $50, and I knew it would probably be somewhere near. Every once in a while you get out lucky with like $40, $35, plus the cost of the fan, right? So this lady, she went and got a box. She didn't have a box. She went and got a box, and she went to the FedEx store to like see how much it would cost, and sent me. Very transparent, super sweet individual. Like, this is the definition of human kindness. Like someone going out of their way, where she could just be like, no, I'm not shipping it. I'm just going to go to the next person in the line. So she then said to me, I feel bad that shipping is so high. I am not charging you for the fan. I'm just going to give you the fan, and knowing it'll go to a good place and it'll be preserved, that's what's important. and I was stunned, and I'm not going to mention her name because you know, I maybe at some point I'll reach out there if there's like a charity or something she wants me to promote or mention, but I'll probably send her this video. So she was very, very nice, and I am so flattered, like, because I've dealt with people on Facebook Marketplace, and they're usually kind of a pain, like, you know, communication spotty at best and whatnot. So not everyone, but a lot of times. So this arrived, and I want to open it for the first time together, and let's check it out. And I tell you again, I cannot say enough good things about this experience with this woman, from just the way she communicated with me, to how generous she is, just awesome. And then to whoever on the Facebook group reposted the listing, thank you for that. And I'm glad people do that, because there are some interesting things there, especially when you include the link to the actual posting, because you never know. And this is what I love about the hobby. We kind of help each other out. And I really owe a degree of thanks to the woman who sold this to me, or shipped it to me, and then the person who posted it. So all right, let's get going here. And I thought to myself, like, even if this thing shows up, which I hope it doesn't, damaged or something like that, I'm not, you know, I am not going to be, I don't want to say upset, but like, I'm not going to be mad at the lady who shipped it, because she did everything right. Wow, she sure did. Look at that. Whoa, I've never seen a fan shipped like this before. Wow. Okay. So let's open this up. Maybe it's best to lay it flat. Make sure you can see this. I've shipped quite a few fans in my time, but I haven't shipped anything like this. For the fact that it was like $50, I mean, that actually seems like a deal, like, to see how it's packed. So this is shrink wrapped. I mean, this might be the best, it's gotta be the best pack job for a box fan I ever saw. So when I saw the size of the box, when I grabbed it, I thought, oh boy, there's probably like no packing in there, because the box seemed kind of small. Oh, there's packing in there. The irony is I did a video not long ago of packaging up. It was a non-fan item, and I had somebody who was a career, I guess, shipper, tear me in half on my packing. And the item I was shipping was super rugged. It was designed to be at the bottom of oceans, like you could throw it across the room. And I know my packing, the size box I used was definitely a little on the smaller side, but I knew how rugged this thing was. So it was all I had, and I had to get this thing out. So I shipped it. It was totally fine, but I got blasted. All right, ready? But in this case, this is a lesson to be learned. And I'm kind of trying to preserve this in case I want to ship something else. Oh yeah. There it is. This is really exciting. Okay, so this is the top. Okay, this is what it was. Now I remember. Oh yeah, this is exactly. Oh, I'm excited to talk about this. The irony is I'm supposed to be leaving for a work trip, like a 4-hour drive, and this is the third video in a row I'm filming. Okay, and those of you who know me probably know that they won't all air at the same time because they get backed up. Okay, so this is essentially a Robeson box fan that was rebadged Frigid, right? Frigid. Now, the thing is, wow, this cord is in really nice shape. The thing is here is, like, it's interesting because one may argue that a Robeson box fan in itself is almost like a Rebadge. We know it's not. Now, the reason why this fan was very interesting to me, aside from the frigid, like, so when I bought mine in 6th grade in 1990, I remember, this is going to sound weird, I remember seeing this and thinking, oh, cool, like a bigger box fan. The screw's coming out. I gotta screw that back in. I'll just do that by hand for the time being. It looks like this needs to be a little cleaned, and we'll give it some oil. But what I remember is I was disappointed. I mean, I loved the cabinet. It reminded me of a Lakewood. I was like, this is cool, because this is kind of like a 3rd gen size Lakewood. And I was like, neat. But for whatever reason, when I was in 6th grade, I hated the shape of the hub because it was like convex. It like came out, and I was like, that's ugly. I mean, I don't think it's ugly now, but I was used to like these handsome hubs on these 3rd gens, even 2nd gen, and you know how I feel about the 1st gen. And I was like, what is that? So whatever, it wasn't like my main box fan in 6th grade because I was still in 1990. My original McGraw Edison comfort fan was still in service. So I used it as like a secondary fan in my room. Like I was blessed growing up. I had a large bedroom, so I'd put it by my bedroom door to like pull the air through my room as like a secondary fan. So what I remember happened is how it like went bye-bye is our hot water heater was leaking and it was leaving a puddle on the floor. So my parents like put a box fan down there, and I also had a P223. So we had a P223 and this like in the basement, just like trying to keep the water at bay until the parents could get a new hot water heater, which like they like called the guy. They were just like waiting for him to come. And it ran like 24/7 for like maybe 4 or 5 days. And it started to like let out like a high pitch like whine, like it was squeaky. Basically like it was squeaky. And like the Lakewood, the 223 was like, this is all you got? Like I'll run longer than you will live your life. Like I'll just keep running. But this variant of the Robeson, or the Robeson variant of itself, quit. It just quit, and it was probably only like a year old. So maybe this was like 1991 when it happened, or maybe it was the same. Maybe it was the same year I got it. Maybe it was 1990. I don't remember, but I remember. I do remember bringing it on vacation with me, because I remember like seeing it in my like vacation room and looking at the hub and like, oh, I wish it had a traditional Lakewood style hub. And when I was young, I just thought I thought Robeson was a rebadged Lakewood, but I never knew that Robeson actually did a rebadge of themselves. And it wasn't up until recently that I learned that Robeson had their own version of Kmart box fans too, thanks to Robbie and those really cool looking twin fans that he had, which I think he has since parted ways with. So that's the story. So that's why I really wanted this. Oh man, the grill is on the hub. Yeah, so we'll have to deal with that. It needs a little TLC, but this is not like something that's in bad shape. All the slats are good. This is just, I could probably flip the grills. Yeah, they're the same grill on both sides. So I could probably do that. So the back of it, the motor, see, these are like, what was confusing is I thought that these were the same motors that were used by Lakewood, because there's oil ports on them. Oil port. And the windings, windings have dust on them. Just taking a whiff. So let's fire it up. And I have my meter. My meter came back to life. It died in one of the videos. I don't know how something like this would die. Okay, are we on camera? Yes. All right, here we go. Ooh, look at that hub bouncing around. Look at that hub bouncing around. Yeah, it definitely looks a little out of balance. Which we can work on that. So low, 1 amp, 87 watts, 0.7 on the power factor. Medium. It's like the pieces of styrofoam we shoot through. 0.73 power factor, 1.4 amps, 127 watts, and for high, 1.8 amps, 166 watts, 1.74 in the power factor. Yeah, it's vibrating. I mean, it's not doing. It's vibrating a decent amount, but it's not moving across the table like a Alaska would. It's just so strange. Like, I know we talked about it in other videos. I mean, the switch, while cosmetically it looks identical to a Lakewood, you know, it would be. It's spin down is really good. Spin down is look at that. Well, I don't know what that means when it goes back like that. I've had other fans do that. Does that mean like we have a balance problem? But anyway, getting back to the switch, I know cosmetically the label, the knob look the same, but most Lakewoods over time, they develop that creaky sound when you go to switch speeds. This has that same thing. So just when I'm like, they have nothing to do with one another, I'm like, but they even behave the same way. It's just crazy. I often wonder, these wires are in really nice shape. I often wondered if, like, did someone at Robeson like reverse engineer like a Lakewood fan and be like, yep, we can get those parts from this manufacturer, we can get that handle from that manufacturer. I don't know. And I didn't do enough research. Was Robeson owned by like a Chinese company? So I know in China a lot of times they'll take US designs and just basically pretty much copy them. I don't know. But in the end, these were not bad fans. The one I had in 6th grade, I wish I knew what I know now about fans, because I probably could have repaired the situation. I don't ultimately know what became of that fan. Back then, like, my parents would urge me to throw stuff out. Like, they would let me keep something that's broken for like a period of time, but if I stopped working on it, like learning from it, tearing it down and stuff, they would push me to get rid of it, and they would usually win. But I can only imagine, even if it was toast, what the grills would be worth. That not in dollars, but like value to a person who's trying to restore a fan, or the blades. But I always thought this hub was unique, and I'm glad to have it now. I'm glad to have this in the collection. And what will be cool is I really kind of have, the Robeson collection is really growing, and I know it's badged to Frigid, but it's a Robeson. I have essentially the variant of this with more of a Lakewood looking hub. We have the full size, like I call it the P223 Robeson version of that, the Robeson ripoff version of that. And that one is, I would say, it is such new condition that I have. It's almost like my P25, where I won't really even use it, because it's basically new old stock. And then now we have this, and I feel like I have another one hanging around in the collection somewhere, some variant. The one that I wouldn't mind getting at some point is there's 2 collectors out there that have them, Jordan being one of them, is the 3-bladed full-size Robeson that looks like the 223. That's kind of interesting to me as well. But that's not like a unicorn collecting item that I'm looking for, but it's more or less one of those things, if I come across it, I would consider bringing it home. All right, well, let me know what you guys think about this. If anyone could tell me anything about Frigid and how they essentially private labeled a Robeson, That would be interesting. And does anyone know if Robeson also lent their name out, or not lent their name out, but lent their fans out to any other companies? Like I said, learned about the Kmart version of Robeson, now Frigid. Are there any others? And so it seems like after last summer we talked about Robeson amongst us collectors out there on the channels. Now it's kind of popping back up again a little bit. All right, well, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. I'm trying to learn more about Robeson as I keep finding out more as time goes on. And I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment. See you soon. Bye for now.